Hey, this is Subspace Transmissions. I'm Tyler.
And I'm Cam.
Cam, we have new evidence mounting that Captain Pike will be making an appearance on Star Trek Discovery in Season 2. Of course, Anson Mount will be the new captain.
It's been quite a hill to climb to get this news.
But
Finally.
Yeah, how did he journey up this long and winding road?
Yeah, so Anson Mount, are you familiar with him?
I actually know him from Hell on Wheels. I've never watched the series, but I know that Colomini was or is featured on that show as very prominent role there. So that's as far as I know from Star Trek connections. But I'm not super familiar of this actor's work. I'm curious about you, Cam.
I mean, I've apparently seen him in the movies Non-Stop Safe, this Jason Statham movie, as well as the Straw Dogs remake. But I don't remember his performances in them.
I'm sure that bodes well for the charismatic leader of the Federation flagship.
And we have a friend who was really big on his performance in Crossroads, the Britney Spears movie. I haven't seen that either. And I didn't watch The Inhumans recently, that Marvel show that imploded. Pretty much.
Okay, so we're not super familiar with the actor, but what we are getting, though, is that pretty much confirmation there will be a crossover with the Enterprise crew. It's not just going to be the Discovery encountering the 1701 and saying, hey, good to see ya, then taking off for the next 40 minutes of Episode 1.
Yeah.
What are your expectations with maybe other casting announcements for at least one episode of Star Trek Discovery, and what I think will be probably a multi-episode arc, really?
Yeah, I mean, I think number one is the next big casting announcement they're going to make because, the Majel Barrett character in that episode, The Cage, is really memorable, but also doesn't have a super ton to do. So I'm hoping that Discovery gives that character her due.
Okay. Yeah, we joke about it, though, but I mean, there's not too many more characters that we can really pick out of the Enterprise crew other than Dr. Boyce.
Fan favorite.
Well, that's a serious question, though. Would you expect a Dr. Boyce appearance just because there's really not many more to pick through other than the big one, which would be Spock, of course?
Yeah, like there's the yeoman on the episode The Cage, but I don't think she's particularly memorable as a character. Dr. Boyce is, I think, the only other crew member, and I always like to imagine a younger Philip Baker Hall as this character. I think he would be really fun. He's a little too old now, but I think that would be pretty incredible.
Yeah.
If you can find like a 40 to 50-year-old Philip Baker Hall lookalike, you're set.
Yeah, but there's tons of them out there, Cam.
They don't make them like that anymore. They broke the mold after that one.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it does feel like Spock is the only other choice. How long do you think until they delay? Like, how long do you think they delay announcing that sort of news? I mean, whatever they're going to do.
They're going to delay it as long as they can. But in this situation, I have a theory about what we could do to get the Spock on the screen without compromising the whole Leonard Nimoy image. But we've seen holographic projections very popular for subspace communication. Mm-hmm. I think it would be kind of awkward if you try to insert Spock just with the old school 1960s cinematography in some sort of Forrest Gump sort of fashion aboard this new series. Why not use him as part of like a subspace transmission, so to speak? But it would be great if we actually could, justify that the reason he doesn't look as crystal clear is just because it's a holographic projection and they're pulling him from like some sort of other scene. It also explains why maybe Sarek and Burnham really haven't interacted with him during this latest adventure.
Right. Maybe he's on an away mission and there's interference.
That would be kind of lame. I hope that's not the case.
Heavy interference.
I would just say this. It would be such a lame kind of compromise if we know that the 1701 is there.
Yeah.
We know that Spock is aboard. We also know that Sarek is aboard the Discovery. Why would they set all this up if they were just going to tease the audiences with something like this? I think it would be unnecessarily silly.
Right. No, I agree. Now, I am curious. What would you like to see them do with Pike?
I would like to make at least one joke about a wheelchair or him communicating with some sort of like ding-dong machine.
Right.
Bells, I guess is what most people call them.
Classic ding-dong machines.
But I would like to see him as kind of that mentor figure to at least somebody else on board, because I think Bruce Greenwood in the Kelvinverse, he really nailed that character down in a way that there wasn't really much to work with based on Jeffrey Hunter's performance in The Menagerie and The Cage.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, I have no real understanding of who Pike is, because even in the cage, he's not at his best. He's kind of depressed, and that episode is about him getting his groove back, essentially.
He's even worse in the menagerie camp.
Yeah, no kidding. Ding. But, you know, I would like to see Discovery. We're seeing him at a better state, I would imagine, because that's kind of him at his lowest in the cage. So, like, what is Pike like in his younger years, sort of with that, you know, spirit of discovery? No pun intended.